It's a playoff game day. Head on down to the Mall of America tonight for the Game 4 watch party starting at 6:30 p.m. See the game streamed live on the big screen in the Huntington Bank Rotunda, hosted by myself and my man Parker Fox, with chances to win prizes during breaks. Full details at KFAN.com, keyword calendar. It's so good having real music back.
Oh, yeah. Now, those that'll listen to this podcast at some point, there's just going to be a little bit of dead air, and they're going to go, ooh-ah. They, thank you for listening 9 to noon via the podcast, as you heard, Max playing real music again that will be available and enjoyed to our live and local listeners via 100.3 FM, The Fan, and the free iHeartRadio app. In studio with me now, Parker Fox. How you doing, man?
Good, man. We still got a little optimism. It's game day. It's a little, there's a little lull in the air, and I think people are disappointed, which they should be. But I still got a little ounce of hope and faith left in me. So I'm doing good I'm doing good this morning.
How do you handle that in a spot where? Because it'd be one thing if you just weren't game for a series like this. Mm-hmm. At Parker Fox 24 via the X machine as well. Instagram as well?
Yeah, maybe Parker Fox 23, one of those. 23? You'll find it.
Start with Parker. Let's just start with Parker Fox 20 and work our way up, and eventually you're going to find
you're gonna get there.
Parker Fox. But it'd be, if you're getting blown out in these games, mm-hmm. There's this brick in the head moment where it's like, well, we just don't got it.
Yeah.
And you've heard Anthony be honest after some games. I just didn't have it. Mm-hmm. Shots weren't falling. Kat was talking about that after Game 3 the other night. But how do you handle? Would you rather be blown out than have to sit there and go through the mental machinations of, well, this run at the end of the second quarter that changes the game. If Finch calls a timeout, we can get Conley back in there and really set up a possession. That game's different. Playing those games and those sorts of things, I mean, it's an odd way to start this thing. Is I'm with you. Yeah. There's hope for tonight, but I think about that where, for frustrated Wolves fans, how these games have ended, mm-hmm. not with us in the third quarter going, man, Kyrie and Luka are amazing. Time to get out of here. It's, man, Luka and Kyrie are amazing, and this one play, and dribble out of that scrum, dude. Yeah. Playing that kind of game, it's just almost kind of adding fuel to the fury.
Yeah, that makes it hurt less. If you're getting blown out and you're like, this team's just better than us, then as a viewer and as a, just a spectator, it makes it hurt less for sure. And you're like, oh, we're not quite good enough. Like, hey, let's see what we do this offseason. And, maybe we can add a couple pieces, or maybe we can make a coaching, not a head coaching change, but, do something in the offseason and help us, get past the Western Conference Finals next year. But as a competitor, it's like, you don't want to get blown out. Like as a guy that's out there, it's like there's nothing more defeating than when you look up at the score like we did to Denver that in Game 6 when we're beating them by, there's nothing more defeating as a player when you're like.
And Malone clears the bench with 9 minutes.
Exactly. It's like, damn, we were so bad tonight that we couldn't even be out there in the time that we needed to be out there. So I think as a competitor, you like where we're at. But you're right. There's so many little things that we as fans can now dissect, and we're like, if we would have done this right, we would have won this game. And then if we would have done this right, we could have won this game. And now you're telling yourself, okay, now it's, they're probably still going to get one, but, now it's 2-1 us versus 0-3. So it's like, I don't know, as a viewer, you definitely go and watch all these little things and you're like, oh, dang, like we're so close to where we want to be. And I think that's what kind of makes it hurt even more. And I think that's something me and Max felt. I think Target Center kind of had that, just that feeling in Game 2 where we're up to 18. I was talking to, people and, in the underneath the basket and around the crowd, everybody's like, oh, this is our game. Like, oh, Luka and Kyrie are just going to fold and, they're going to preserve their energy. We're up 18. We're good. And the next thing you know, it's like
that quick six before half,
a game again.
12 points.
Yeah, you're right. It's a game again, and it turns out that we go and lose that one, and it's like those are the things that really do make it hurt. And I think as a competitor, you never want to get blown out. You never want to lose games in general, but I think that hurts. That makes a competitor hurt too. And it's like, you watch the film back, and I'm sure Anthony Edwards is like, dang, if I would have just shot this here. I might not make it, but then, they got to call a timeout and we got to do a bunch of different stuff, and, it forces different situations. And then same situation, he turns the ball over, and then, same one with 3 seconds left. It's like, hey, if I would have got to the rim, maybe I could have gotten a hoop or a whistle, but I got to trust my guy not. So it's like there's so many things that go through your head, and it's like that's what makes it so fun, though, too, where it's like when you're on the winning side, I'm sure Dallas fans are like freaking on top of the world right now because they've gotten all these little ones that haven't quite gone our way. So,
but that brings us back to the hope.
Yeah.
Because it has been, razor thin margins through these 3 games. And because you can point, I think it was 9 fourth quarter turnovers through the first 2 games. You can point to guys like Conley. Weird moments, right? Like Jaden doesn't go to the hoop. He tries to run out the back of the baseline and toss it off of somebody. That was ridiculous.
Yep.
I mentioned the amp it and the scrum the other night. Conley and the lob. Like, you can point to so many of these things. That brings us back to one more day at least of howling to see another day in a Game 5. There's got to be hope associated with this. Don't go out with a sweep. That's ridiculous.
Well, there is hope, too. And the other thing that, makes it so exciting is you got Naz Reid in the post-game presser of Game 3 saying, hey, if any team could do it, we believe we could do it. Nobody's ever done it before coming down from, 03. And we got guys that, they're still believing. And I hope that's true belief, too, because I have that little ounce of faith in me too that they can do it. Like, I've seen this team win 4 games in a row this year against really good teams. So it's like, I don't know. I keep that faith because I think like we've been through so much this year, and I think that you guys hit on it earlier as I was driving in, but you're right. There's so many people that wrote us off early in the season. It's like, oh, you're not going to beat this Phoenix team, or oh, you're not going to beat this Denver team, and then we do that. So then Wolves fans are like, oh, we beat Phoenix and Denver. Like Dallas we're going to be fine with Dallas, right? And it just doesn't happen. It doesn't click, and that's the way sports rolls sometimes. So I know I still got some faith left in me. I think we got to get this one tonight and create some momentum and see what we can do. But now
Wolves in 7.
Wolves in 7.
Sir.
Hey, Max, I said it from the start, didn't I?
You did say Wolves in 7.
I said it from the start. Max said Wolves at 5, and I was like, I don't know, man. This is gonna be a good team. Give me Wolves at 7. I didn't predict it to go like this.
Right.
I'm not giving myself that much credit. But
but in the end, no one's going to go through the game log and see how they got to 7. It's just that they got there.
It makes the 30 for 30 in the future that much more interesting when we come back and win these 4 in a row. And one of the reasons that Wolves fans can have a little bit more hope, at least going into Game 4, is that there is no Derek Lively tonight. Unfortunate incident in Game 3 where he got a double shot of knee to the nuts.
That was bad.
And then a knee to the back of the head, and he's out tonight with a neck injury. And me and you have talked about it, Parker, how vital he's been to on both sides of the court for the Mavericks. So talk about what the Mavericks will be missing with no Derek Lively Jr. and how their game changed in Game 3 without him on the floor.
Well, did you see that stat that TNT put up during the game? It was like lob dunks that they
had mid-40s at least.
Yeah, they had I think there was at 40 at that point in the game. They were at 45, and the second closest was
like 8 or something.
Was 8 or 9. It was
Denver
Oklahoma City or Denver. Yeah,
they're the new Lob City.
Yeah, and no doubt. And we talked about it all game, Max. And we're like, how do we freaking stop these lobs? Like what are we supposed to do here? So I think that's a thing that they gotta figure out and dial in on. But yeah, that stat was crazy to me, Max.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like it's so easy for them. We talked about it before every single game this series, how easy it is and how smart and how fast Kyrie and Luka are processing the game to be able to find those guys every single time. So no Derek Lively tonight, but they are getting Maxi Kleba.
Is he back, huh?
Yeah, I think that he's questionable tonight, so he might return. So they lose one big man, they get another one back.
Yeah, he's not much of a lob kind of guy, though. No. He's more of a spacer, corner 3.
He shoots threes,
doesn't he? He's a 3-point shooter more. That's kind of his game. But they've had that 1-2 punch with Gafford and Lively, so they've been able to kind of go whether it's 24 minutes, or, 28-20 or whatever it may be, whoever, got the hotter hand that night. But those guys, their field goal percentage has to be out the roof just because they're simply only doing lob dunks. And that's a pretty high percentage when you're getting passes from, two of the best in Kyrie and Luka. So I think that'll be an advantage for us tonight, having one less lob threat in the game and also one less perimeter defender. Like, I've been mentioning it all series, and I love the way Anthony Edwards came out in Game 3, more motivated, more energetic, more aggressive, getting to the rim, and I think that's something we've had to do all series. But I know it's tough. Like, Lively's a good body in there. They got a lot of long bodies in there, but having one less is your advantage. So you got to find ways to get in there and be physical in the paint tonight. We're
kind of watching with the ESPN scroll here, and they're talking about who is the most important player on the Celtics. We'll take your calls, 800-320-5326. But in some ways, both of these conference finals series, hopefully this one does not end in a sweep, but they've kind of played out very similarly. Now they're missing Tyrese Halliburton with he was either a hammy or an ankle, I forget, but in the same vein, the Pacers, believe it or not, with the Nemhards of the world, I mean, 30, what he had high 20s last night, 32, I think, in Game 3, et cetera. So they've led in all those games.
Yeah.
And it's come down to the shot makers. So frustrating season ends with a whimper. Wolves do not advance to the NBA Finals. Is there a way you can just kind of sum it up to, it's Luka and Kyrie, man. It's Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah, to a point there is. And it's like, I was on the golf course yesterday with my brother, and we were talking about how much sense does this Dallas, Boston finals make? And obviously, we don't want to get there quite yet, but, you had the Kyrie Irving incident when he was saying he's not going anywhere else and he's staying in Boston. And, you got so many other little things that go on through this series that you point at. But, no, I think the thing for me is like, this team, this Wolves team has been able to do so many great things this year that, when we get to this off season, we're going to, when you don't get to where you want to go. And I think for everybody, that's a championship, regardless if you're, last in the league, your goal is to win a championship. And that's why you play the game, is to, eventually go host that Larry O'Brien. But, no, I think this Wolves team's got to figure out what kind of approach they want to have in this offseason, because I believe that the pieces are there. Like, I don't think it's some drastic change that needs to happen. Everybody's been yelling for, Karl-Anthony Towns to be traded, and I'm not on that train at all, and I haven't been. I think, when he's at his best, when he knows when he's at his best, right? Like, the version of Cat that we get when it's like that sound steady, I'm here to play Cat versus the flailing, complaining, whining Cat. Like, we can't have that version of Cat if we're going to win, if we're going to win a championship. But I don't think it's like some like drastic change. I think it's coming back and having, little changes and whatever that may be that's going to help you win a championship. But, you look at this Boston team and it's like, holy cow, these guys are stacked.
Do they have Porzingis back yet? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, they're not back. He's not back yet, but they're saying that he's probably going to be questionable for the championship.
And they do get the chill for basically a real-time week.
And they get
another storyline going into the game is the Porzingis and Mavericks connection.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you had Porzingis down in Dallas as well. And so I don't think he's quite back yet, but I think I don't know. I'd expect him to be. I'd expect him to be ready. But yeah, you got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Holiday, Derek White. You just got so many pieces over there that it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like when the Wolves beat them early in the season, I was like, holy cow, like this team is legit. That was like a championship type feel game in Target Center.
But what's weird though is they've kept games a lot closer.
Yeah,
and in a lot of ways, it's been, they've kind of played like Luka and Kyrie earlier in the playoffs, where it was one of them would go off, one was struggling. Kyrie had some really tough games earlier in the postseason. Not against the Wolves, unfortunately, but earlier in the year, they've been playing. They've allowed teams to exist in these games a lot longer than they need to. Now, in terms of Karl, though, is there enough of a track record, and I think there is, to have faith that whether it's tonight or for the balance of this series and moving forward, that and I haven't gone through all his game logs. I can't remember a recent time where he's had 3 games consecutively where he's just been this ineffective. I mean, because he's getting the open shots too. And I don't and he's, and by the way, you mentioned it, the flailing, the complaining Cat.
Yeah.
he's had some moments that he actually has reserved himself, I think, in this series thus far, where he had earned a free throw and he didn't get it.
Yeah.
And he didn't lose his mind. He just rolled back down the court. But these open threes and just all of that over the course of this 3-game series, he's gone from the guy that they would have trouble matching up with to the guy that almost let him shoot, let him prove it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just have not seen him like this. At least I can't remember recently a time when Cat's been this ineffective. So that kind of lends me to it's do or die night. Like I feel like he needs to snap out of it, obviously, but can he really just wilt and completely disappear in this entire series? I have a hard time seeing him go out like that. As mad as everybody is at him right now, I kind of got a little faith in Carl.
Yeah, I think I do too. You know, you talk about, I think he truly is one of the best big man shooters of all time, especially from the 3-point range. And
they're using that quote against him right now.
Of course they are, right?
Yep.
And he's gone 2 of 9, 1 of 5, and 0 of 8 from 3 in the 3 games. So you don't love those numbers.
Never mind, I don't have any faith in him.
I think they said that historically over that stretch, he is the worst 3-point shooter in the history of the NBA postseason. Not trying to pile on to Carl. That's just like statistically over the last 3, 4, 5 games, they said he is literally the worst 3-point shooter of all time in the playoffs.
Yeah, that comes back to bite him there. But no, I think you are right. And I generally have been so impressed with Cat this year. You know, I watch every game and I'm, dialed in on the intricacies because I've, been a fan of this team for so long. And it's like a couple of years ago, if you would bench Cat down the stretch, like we did in game 2 and go to Naz Reid, like, I don't know, as a competitor and as anybody that, is supposed to be the starter, it's supposed to be, he was the Batman, but now he's more of the Robin, but he's still, an intricate part of this team. Like, it's hard not to pout and put your head down. But Cat's been awesome on the bench, and he's been, up and, high-fiving and clapping and bringing energy, and that stuff's genuine. So, like, I think you do got to give Cat a lot of credit. And, you'd rather give him credit for being out on the court and, hitting the shots and winning in the actual games versus being a cheerleader on the bench. But, like, I think that shows Cat's growth and that his maturity and being able to realize that it's bigger than him. And that's something he's talked about, being here for 9 years and how he's going to bring a championship to Minnesota and whatever it takes. And it maybe not be him bringing a championship to Minnesota, but it's going to be his team. And, that's great and all. But at the end of the day, we need, the guy that we're paying all those millions of dollars to be out there on the court and producing for us. So I do expect, and me and Max talked about it, pregame game 1, is I said I think Carl's got to be this X factor in this series because Dallas is, they're wiry and they're long and they're athletic, but they don't have that size to match up with, our 2 big man roster that we created that everybody said wasn't going to work, So I'd like to see him just find ways to get his confidence going early in game 4, because when you're a shooter, so much of it is based off confidence. And Cat's a guy that needs to see the ball kind of go in the rim first. So I wouldn't. I think it'll be disappointing for me if I see Cat's first shot as a deep 3 that isn't a confident shot. Like I love him to see you get a touch shot around the rim or get fouled and then get to the free throw line, and then you can kind of start expanding your game, and hopefully they start going in. They haven't yet, but hopefully they do.
Well, I told Max earlier. I'm saying. Give him. I need him to shoot a 3 in the first 30 seconds of the game. So you're smarter than I am. You're looking at it differently.
You want to chuck, huh? Just get him up.
No, I think if you're going to win tonight, your first offensive set should be how do we get Carl open for a good look. That was my only thought, because in the end, my opinion changes with the direction of the wind sometimes as I look at this, because I need Carl to be better. But yesterday I'm thinking to myself, he's a 7-footer who plays short sometimes, it feels like. And so I want him to get to the rim. I want him to assert himself. And he certainly is athletic enough to do that. Mm-hmm. And we've seen, he can take 2 steps.
Yeah, no, literally.
And he's tomahawking the thing.
Right.
So that's good. But I've also watched him kind of shy away inside, specifically with Gafford. Yeah. And Gafford deserves respect for his ability to block and alter shots and those things. Mm-hmm. And so all of that. But I'm just like, can you get to the rim? Get that whistle. So I'm with you on that. But then there's also another part of me. The whole reason that Rudy works with Cat, not just time served and figuring it out, is because he is one of the better big man shooters, not just now, but for the totality of things. And that's the allure, that's the benefit of him not having to be at the low post all the time. And so the best of Cat includes him hitting those threes.
For sure.
So in the first 30 seconds tonight, you want him to go to the rim and get the and one, which is totally sweet because that's where I was yesterday. And by next segment, I'll agree with you again. But for I just let that thing fly. Let that thing hit the net.
Yeah, I mean,
it.
I don't blame you. I think I grew up my dad would always preach, don't start the game on a settle shot. If we can get a great set and it's a situation where we get Carl in space and Anthony Edwards driving into a double team and Cat's, catch and shoot and rhythm, for sure, get it up there. But I just always kind of grew up on my dad would always tell me like, hey, find a way to get to the rim or get to the free throw line. And especially when you're kind of in a slump, because as a shooter, that rim gets a whole lot tighter when you start to miss, and it's like you're not following through the same, and you kind of start to push it, and instead of like shooting it and letting it fly and having confidence in your jumper, you're kind of like trying to will the ball in the rim, and you're kind of like it's almost like throwing a dart, when you're trying to like hit the bullseye, you're like your arm's so locked in and tight, and you maybe have an eye shut, and you're squinting, and you're like, how do I get? That's not basketball. Basketball is, confidence, catching the ball, letting it fly, trusting your rhythm, trusting your shot. He said he shoots 1,500 shots a day. And we heard
I think that may have been hyperbole a little bit.
I'm like, what is this, 1904 baseball? Why do you nobody should be using their arms that much in one day?
Literally. Like I've done that before, and that's a lot. It takes several hours to do that. So I don't know if he's doing that, but I do trust that he's been putting in a lot of work, and he's a guy that I think ultimately he does really trust his jump shot. So if that's a thing where he comes into this game and it's the first possession of the game and he gets an open shot, yes, so be it. Let it fly and hit it. But if not, we got to find a way to get him his confidence back, because I don't think we win this game with an unconfident Karl Anthony Towns.
Well, you're the expert. I'm not. So now I'm back. Now I'm back with you. Now, do not, whatever you do, Carl, do not shoot on the very first
if he shoots a three
set.
and misses it tonight, then I'm going to text you and be like, "What are you talking about?"
Listen to Parker, Cat. Listen to Parker.
Parker, we all need Carl. We know the Wolves need Karl Anthony Towns to get going tonight. We all want him to get going. We want to see the Cat that we know and love back. But on the off chance that he does continue the shooting struggles tonight, if you're Chris Finch, do you kind of decrease those minutes in favor of more Naz Reid minutes and more slow-mo minutes, or do you try to let him shoot his way out of the slump?
Yeah, I think at this point you have to. Now, if it was a regular season game and it's like, you're in game 45 and you just got out of the All-Star break and he was in Cancun or whatever and took a little vacation and now he's back, he's not quite making shots, then yeah, you got to let the guy shoot, out of his little slump here. But you're in game 4, you're a do or die situation, and this is a team that that really wants to do this and to win and believes that they can do it. So if it's a situation where he's not producing for you, then you got to go with the hot hand. And in game 2, we saw that was Naz Reid. And, game 3, we saw a lot of good in Kyle Anderson. And, I said it as well. I think Kyle Anderson's he's a good piece for this, this series, because he's a long defender that can, obviously you're not going to shut down Kyrie or Luka, but, he can be there to, help stop them. And then, on the flip side, he's they've left him open on offense, and he's been able to kind of produce and do different good things offensively. So
his bits where he gets he'll get an offensive rebound or just he'll clean up the mess, and those little 10, 11 footers in the lane, he's been perfect with those.
And that's his shot too. Like, we don't need Kyle Anderson spacing the floor and hitting threes. We don't need Kyle Anderson doing things off the dribble. We just need that little dump down. Like, if you get double teamed and there's he's just kind of always in the right spot. I feel like he's always just it's that basketball knack, and I think he's kind of got it. And we saw the technical last game, and he's kind of got that little hot head a little bit to him. But he just
that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bad.
Luka not getting one in the third quarter when he's jumping up and down, throwing a tantrum. That's what was even more ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the superstar whistle there. That's the superstar deal. But no, I think Kyle Anderson Anderson's a great piece, and I'd love to see more of him tonight. And I know a lot of people will disagree with me, and they'll watch him on the court and be like, "Why the hell is this guy on the court? Like he can barely move, and da da da. His shot's broke." But I think he's a key piece and to this Wolves team. And yeah, we didn't see him in some games, and that's just how series goes. Sometimes you're not a good matchup for a team, and that's a hard thing for a competitor to understand. Is coach doesn't put you in the game because the matchup isn't going to work that night. Like, how do you respond to that? And I think, Kyle's a guy that's been around the league enough and has played a lot of basketball that gets it, and I think if his number gets called a little extra tonight, he's going to produce. And I'm not talking about a 20-point performance. I'm talking about going 5 of 6 from the floor, getting to the foul line, and just creating havoc on Luka, making it hard, because at the end of the day, Luka's going to get to his spots and going to get what he wants. But how can you make him take more shots? Like we always preach, like if Luka's going to get 30 tonight, can we make him take 25 shots to do it? Or can we make him take 30 shots to do it? Like that's the type of situation you want to be in, where it's a less efficient game, and how can you throw different bodies and defenders? And I think Kyle Anderson's is a piece that we have to do tonight.
Playing in the Big Ten and playing basketball as long as you have, this Tony Brothers thing.
Yeah.
So you naturally know, maybe by reps, by reputation, by just conversing with other guys, like, this guy's tight with the whistle. Mm-hmm. This guy, if you blow on somebody near the hoop, it's a foul. That sort of thing. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of been fun to watch it. And as closely as I've followed the NBA playoffs, I have. I've noticed that over the last decade or so. But this is also now the first time that our team's on the receiving end of some of this. After there's this Jeff Teague, and I can't play it.
Oh my god!
Because it's exceptionally,
it's the funniest thing ever.
Vulgar. But did you see the Jeff Teague Tony Brothers bit?
Yeah.
Where he's like, my mom and aunt were in the stands, and he said, "What up with them H words?" Or who?
He said, "Who them H words?"
Who them H words?
Jeff Teague's like, "Yo, that's my mom, bro."
How do you handle stuff like that? But I got some good news as we go to break. Tonight, your crew chief will be the extender.
Let's go.
Scott Foster.
Yeah, let's go,
the crew
baby.
Chief. Following, and he'll be with Bill Kennedy and Ed Malloy.
Oh, wow. What a crew tonight.
What a crew. The extender is in the house in Dallas.
Adam Silver made the call.
Because of TV ratings, they wouldn't suspend Jamal Murray in the Nuggets series over the Heat Pack thing. And they're like, well, this Celtics thing, that's a sweep. Well, let's squeeze a couple extra games out of this Dallas Wolves series. Keep the TV ratings going, which I think, sadly, have been kind of on the decline the last couple of years. But the howl's coming. Anthony Edwards, star ascending. We'll fix that in the next couple of years. The fixer, the extender in the house tonight. But we're gonna continue on the Wolves train. I also, very personal connection that Parker Fox has to Minnesota's PWHL team with Game 5 tomorrow night back in Lowell, Massachusetts, for an opportunity at a title. I want to dig into all of that. The Howl, the PWHL team, great with acronyms, Nordo. And as we continue 9 to noon, Lavelli Neal III in studio at 11. We're howling 9 to noon on the Fan.
It's game day, and KFAN, along with Discover Strength, want you to be as strong as the players on the court. Schedule your free, that's right, FREE introductory workout now at discoverstrength.com. Get 30-minute strength workouts twice per week with an expert trainer. Book your free workout today at discoverstrength.com.
Parker Fox in studio with me, Nordo. Max Fuller is here. Lavelle's in studio a half hour from now. A 6'9" member of Gophers Hoops living in a short man's world as he attempts to find travel out to sea. Taylor Heisey.
Yep.
And Minnesota's PWHL squad. It is the game of games. The Wolves need to win tonight to survive. The ladies need to win to hoist a trophy, which is super sweet. The Walter Cup. Now, I must go backwards to go forwards because I mentioned Taylor. She scored the game winner, Parker. So I guess, it was Sunday, correct? And there were, 14, 15,000 people there. It was a packed house for this game.
Yeah.
Double OT. The game's over.
Mm-hmm.
The Walter Cup is all but they're about to roll the carpet out onto the ice. Heisey scores the goal, and it's taken away. What was that like on Sunday?
Well, first of all, it was a 5 p.m. game, so I thought, okay, this is gonna be perfect.
It was Sunday, correct?
Sunday, yeah. Same game as the Wolves, same time,
That's right,
same day as the Wolves game. So I thought, perfect. Okay, Wolves play at 7. Taylor plays at 5. We'll get into Exxon Energy Center. You'll watch the game. I'll probably be back on my couch by about halftime of the Wolves game. If they win, I might get dragged out to a bar or, restaurant or something, but at least they'll have the game on where I can hear some volume. And because I'm watching in the seat and I don't want to be rude to the people next to me. So I got the volume off, and I heard that's a good thing because a lot of the people didn't love what Reggie Miller had to say. And there's a lot of Reggie Miller hate out there, but no. So the game starts at 5, and 4 hours later, they're still playing hockey. Goes to double overtime. A couple minutes left in double overtime. You can tell everybody's tired out there. This is a championship game. It's been a long season. It's game 4. It's a 5-game series. So this is, Minnesota's up 2-1 at this point. And we put the puck in the back of the net, and everybody's gloves go off, the helmets go off, the sticks go flying, hugging the parents, hugging grandma, hugging her brothers, and Abbott's behind us. He had a sweet picture of me, cheering on with her family. And we thought everything's good. Let's go celebrate, all this kind of fun stuff. And, they go, we're going to review it and see if it was a goal or not. And like you said, the energy in the arena was crazy. I think there was 13,100 people, I think was the official number. So whole lower bowls filled up, whole second rows filled up, great energy. And, everybody's kind of on the edge of their feet, on the edge of their seat. And, they spent some time in there reviewing it. And you're you kind of know once they take that time to review it, you're oh dang, they're really looking at this thing. It's coming back. So ref comes up, calls it off. And it's I got a text from, our SID at the University of Minnesota. She goes, they got to find a way to get this energy back here because, that's a hard switch. And I kind of knew. I was that Boston's going to go and score, and it's going to be pretty fast. That's just the way. I feel that's the way hockey is sometimes, where it's it's just such a weird game, and pucks can just bounce so many different ways. And this was double overtime, so you've played at this point. They had almost played 100 minutes of hockey. It's they were into the depths. I think the final goal was scored with 2.5 minutes left in double overtime. So yeah, then Boston a couple shifts later takes the puck down the ice, and lady by the name of Elena Mueller, she snipes one top right, and then it ends like that, and the crowd went silent, and there's a lot of popcorn and bottles of Coke thrown onto the ice, and the refs were a little brutal all game, but that's hockey. Sometimes they're trying to figure out this league because it's technically still non-checking, and they're not allowed to check because it's the women's league, but they're letting a lot of it flow, and the refs are kind of figuring that out, and so there's a lot of physicality, and but there's another game. There's still life. It's not over. And now I am getting on a plane to Boston tomorrow morning to go cheer on the ladies Wednesday night. I think it's a 7 Eastern game in Boston. So Bally Sports, YouTube Live. You can watch it.
Bally's and YouTube, right?
Yeah. YouTube Live has it. Obviously, Bally have it. I know Bally's kind of struggling right now with some different connections.
If you have Bally's,
no
you can
doubt.
watch it.
But if not, YouTube Live, it's on there. It's super easy. Just look up PWHL and you can watch it. And it's fun. It's fun, high-paced hockey, super skillful. And Game 5, it's a championship. If you win, you host a trophy. If you lose, you go home. So it's why would you not want to, turn that on and see him go try to win a championship? So I'll be out there and cheering on. I think it's already sold out. The arena's sold out already. Sold out super fast. So
is it UMass Lowell? Is that where they play?
I think it's at the. I don't know exactly where it's at.
I hate to put you on the spot again.
It's at the Tsongas Center.
Tsongas Center?
Yeah, Tsongas Center,
and just north of Boston.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. It'll be electric. But yeah, it's I don't know how some of these girls have any energy left because you talk about hockey. It's a physical, high-paced game. And you're skating up and down the ice. I'm getting tired watching it because it's it's back and forth, and it's now it's a fifth game final. So you got all the energy in the world. It's all the adrenaline left in you. See what you can do to try to win a championship.
And if you're going to be on that flight to Boston, by the way, and you have an exit row seat, give it to Parker Fox.
Yeah.
Okay? He's 6 feet 9 inches tall.
I'm in 33F right now. I'm in the last seat of the plane, the back corner. So if you got an exit row and you're listening right now, I'd love to trade with you.
Brother needs some leg room, and he's willing to step up. If the opportunity, hopefully not, most likely won't be required, he'll handle all duties in the exit row. So let's get that Walter Cup tomorrow night. But tonight, what are you looking at? We've gone the distance, I think, on Carl. Mm-hmm. But in terms of extending this series, it's managing. It's like season's on the line. Yeah. So if Van needs to play 48, he'll play 48. Although that would be some issues if you do extend the series. But that sort of thing. What are you looking forward to while you're in the rotunda with Maxx at Mall of America for the watch party tonight? What are you looking forward to in this game? Yeah,
hopefully a bunch of people come out and hang out with me and Maxx today at MOA. Really looking forward to that. But in terms of the Wolves, I look forward to just seeing kind of our response. Like, as a guy who's kind of realizes that, hey, we might not be winning a championship this year, and that's may be fair to say. Like, let's see how we respond. Like, let's see what kind of character and what kind of players we have on this roster, because it'll be so easy just to fold it in and say, hey, we're down 3-0, we're on the road, we're playing Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Like, we had a great run, we beat KD, D-Book, Brad Beal, we beat Jokic and Murray. Like, we've done some great things, but this team was too good for us, and so there's maybe next year. Like, forget about that attitude. Like, I want to see us come out and just, even if we lose, we played as hard as we could possibly play. We were diving on loose balls, we were crashing the offensive glass, we were sticking to our defensive assignments. Yeah, all the hustle and energy plays are awesome, but like, I want to see us like locked in on our matchups and doing what we want to do to stop this team, and then offensively executing some stuff, getting really good looks, not taking shots out of turn, getting to your spots. If you're Anthony Edwards, can you get to the rim? Can you get to your little mid-range? Anthony Edwards loves the glass, loves to shoot off the glass. Can you get to that shot? If you're Mike Conley, can you control the offense? Can you get to your floater? If you're Cat, can you get to your open threes? If you're Rudy, can you just tip slam and not try to go into your isolation bag in the post? Like, just do what kind of got you there, and just do it as hard as you can. And if that's not good enough, then so be it. And we'll be back next year. But I don't want to see us change or switch up who we are and what we do. Like, just be about who you are. And if that's not good enough, then wasn't meant to be this year.
Well, I appreciate you not only today, but over the last few weeks. It's been an awesome addition to 9 to Noon. You howling with homie Maxx and a cast of 1,000. Rosen showing up with sandwiches. I mean, it's such a party every time. But you're going to be on Fan Line tonight and doing the whole thing, right?
Yeah, we're going to be hooting and hollering at MOA, so we're excited. Hopefully we get a bunch of people coming out. I think Maxx can talk about it, but there should be some awesome prizes and some giveaways and stuff.
Yeah, lots of free prizes. Pretty much every commercial break, there's going to be free prizes, tons of free stuff. We'll be making it rain, gift cards, and bobbleheads, all types of frees. I'll make it rain actual, real $1 bills if the Timberwolves win tonight. We'll call up my old friends at Deja Vu, and we'll get them all really popping. But either way, it's going to be a blast, so come on out.
You could just go to the bank, too, and exchange, and you can get stacks of 25 ones. You can do that, too.
Yeah, exactly. That works, too.
But the VU.
Yeah.
He's got acquaintances there.
Not that I would know, but do they still have the Frisbees and the cups?
I didn't see any Frisbees flying around.
They used to have Frisbees.
There. They still got the weekend dollar hot dogs, though, so...
Oh, yeah,
maybe we could get them to come cater at the mall tonight. Get some VU dogs going.
We were curious. Did they extend that to Memorial Day weekend? Because that would be some patriotic stuff right there. Dollar dogs at the VU on Memorial Day.
Thank you for your service.
But thanks so much, man, and really appreciate your time this morning. Follow at ParkerFox24 via X/Twitter. And it's at Parker Fox, and it's in the 20s, I think, via Instagram. But follow his insight. Hear him with Maxx tonight on the pregame party plus Fan Line. And we're hoping that they get a chance to reserve their voices for more hootie-hooing into a Game 5 and potentially beyond. When we return, we're going to do some news, and then we'll reset at the top of the hour. Lavelli Neal III of the Star Tribune is in studio. It's Nordo in for PA, 9 to noon on the Fan. Welcome back, 9 to noon. Nordo in for PA. PA back tomorrow. And as of now, we'll hear from Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com. Alec Lewis, The Athletic, I believe, in the mix as well. And then, which way is it going to go? Which way is it going to go? In terms of Wolves and Mavericks this evening down in Dallas, Game 4. Don't get swept. How about that? 7:30 p.m.-ish puck up. Well, tip-off. I'm still thinking about PWHL. But 7:30 p.m. tip. You got the pregame and the pregame party prior to that. You got a watch party at MOA. You got fan line afterwards. Let's keep the hootie hoos alive. And let's get to News de Nord, which is presented by Canterbury Park, the casino. At Canterbury Park, live racing season is upon us. I know they've already had some of the dog races out there. It's fun for the whole family. Family days on Sundays are elite. So go to CanterburyPark.com, check out the live racing schedule. And then also, of course, you're feeling the felt with poker, blackjack, and table games all year round. Where are we headed first, Max?
We're headed down to Target Field. The Twins beat the Royals 6-5 yesterday. Joe Ryan struck out 9 over 7 innings of 1-run ball to help the Twins secure the win in the series opener last night. Jose Miranda had a 2-run homer. Trevor Larnach had a 3-run homer. And Alex Kirilloff hit an RBI single in the 8th. That put the Twins up for good, or I guess should say gave them some insurance, because KC put up 4 in the 9th but could not complete the comeback. Same two teams tonight with Simeon Woods Richardson on the mound for your Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, the Twins have won 5 of 6 since that just awful showing and everything went bad in Cleveland at the end of last week. But they've bounced back now, winners 5 of 6. Cole Sands yesterday tried to completely screw up the whole thing. 4 runs in the 9th, but they did get out alive after, you mentioned it, going 7 for Joe Ryan. Dig that. Let's get Pablo rolling. Let's get this thing moving. Duran didn't give up any bone-crushing home runs, so you like that. You know, the weirdest thing with the Twins, I'll get into it more with Lavelle, is... And just, you know, as a disclaimer, not that it's necessarily required, a lot of my focus has been on the Wolves, first and foremost, over the last few weeks. So in terms of microanalyzing how the baseball team's doing on a day-to-day basis, that's not happening. But just kind of watching it and find that this team they're on a pace to win 90 games right now, just about 90 games. And at one point, kind of into the season, it felt like that was the conversation of winning 90 wins you the division. And Cleveland doing what they're doing right now, Twins still 6.5 games out. The Royals, these are great games to win in the division. They're, I think, 4 games ahead of the Twins in the AL Central. But the Twins are actually a wild card team right now. Isn't that kind of weird? I mean, you know, injuries here. You got Buxton. Pitching's been weird. Royce Lewis is still on the mend. When's he going to come back? You think about just kind of how things have gone to start the season. Everyone hates the ownership group because of the TV-related contract issues. So they are actually a playoff team right now. I know 162 games. I get it. I understand it. That could change in a week. Totally get it. But my point is that a significant amount of the American League is middling right now, middling/awful. And the Twins are falling right into kind of that middle to upper tier of the American League. So weird season continues. 6:40 tonight goes Simeon Woods Richardson, and I'm going to buy his jersey the next time I'm at Target Field. Go Twins.
Sticking with the MLB, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, Nordo. The most controversial figure probably in all of American team sports today, certainly baseball in terms of refereeing. MLB umpire Angel Hernandez is retiring effective immediately, ending a controversial 3-decades-long career.
This is another example of why I think, in the end, like Angel Hernandez, there's of all things other than rubes like me, baseball fans saying he's on the take, right? Like you had Donaghy in the NBA. You've had moments like that. Totally get it. But he has never really been accused of fixing games or doing anything nefarious. No. He's just been awful.
Right, which is even funnier.
He's just been so terrible.
It's just him.
He hasn't even financially benefited from being as bad as you could fathom. As bad as it gets. And that I wanted to dig into that with Lavelle too, because it's amazing. And he's done. I got this in front of me. He's done 3 All-Star games. He's done 2 World Series, 8 LCS series, even more Division Series games. He did the World Baseball Classic in 2023. Is there a more hated? Because now we're in the mix. It's like Tony Brothers is a jerk.
Yeah.
Can't stand Ed Malloy's haircut. We need Mark Davis so we can play as physical as we want to because he swallows his whistle. The whole thing. We're just, but and then taking that even a step farther. I don't think that the NFL cares that people are annoyed with the refs. They're watching the review process. It's irritating, but viewership continues to go up. In the NBA, it's one of the biggest talkers this time of the year is this refereeing matchup. This guy's calling aunties and moms in the stands certain words that you shouldn't say to their kin on the court. And that, wow, this, you have 40, what's the over-under on a Tony Brothers game? Like 41.5 in fouls. This other ref, it's mid to low 30s. Why is it called so differently from ref to ref? The NBA doesn't care. And the fact that from May of 1991, and certainly it wasn't talked about in the early 90s the way that it has been in recent years, you allowed this guy to be basically a fan base pariah for 20 years, and you never did anything about it. He's held a lawsuit against Major League Baseball. He believed that race was in play as to why he wasn't chosen for certain big games. He has some sort of personal mission against Joe Torre. Joe Torre, who was like the chief baseball. Like this thing's been, and then he's just awful at his job.
Right.
So all of that included, I don't think these leagues care. They love that you're ripping the ump. They love that you're ripping the referees because that means you're not peeking around the corner at anything else maybe that is more criticism worthy. So, I'll wish him well in his retirement. I don't want to. He's probably like a great dude.
Right.
Like, I was looking at his Wikipedia page. He does charities. Probably an awesome dad. Like the whole thing. Love all of that.
Just terrible at his job.
Just don't even go to a game again. Watch it on TV at home. Please. But you're right. I mean, from 91 through, that's a hell of a run as an umpire. So a lot of people celebrating. A lot of people happy. Yeah. Typically, it's like, even somebody retires here, there'll be like a cake involved. Right. There'll be a lot of awkward conversation among coworkers that never really see each other and maybe don't even like each other, but we're all going into the performance room. We're all going to show up across the street in the West End to have beers with Nan when she retires. I don't see a lot of that happening probably at the Major League offices.
No.
Don't see that. A lot of people actually just, okay, bye.
Yeah, right.
See you later then. So Angel Hernandez, certainly one of the bigger, more notorious names in umpiring. Anything else?
Boston is headed to the NBA Finals after the Celtics completed the 4-game sweep with a 105-102 victory over the Indiana Pacers last night. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combined for 55 points to lead the Celtics to the victory. Another comeback victory for the Boston Celtics, who it feels like every single game this series has been a comeback victory for them. Indiana maybe is the only fan base feeling worse than the local fan base here about their basketball team. I believe Jaylen Brown was chosen as the Eastern Conference Finals MVP in Boston. I mean, hey, you play who's in front of you, but they had a pretty cakewalk of a schedule heading into the NBA Finals, and they will await either the Dallas Mavericks or the Minnesota Timberwolves, who ain't dead yet.
See, I wonder, and I'm scrambling to look this up here. So the Wolves last couple of years, 3 non-playoff seasons prior to this for the Pacers. Otherwise, I have to look back and see what those lineups. They went to the postseason 5 straight years. And then 3 out, and then now this most recent one. Haven't won a playoff series since 2014. They lost Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
Like the way everything I've been reading, like right now, and there's the local bubble, and I'll talk about this with Lavelle in studio next, is everything here is trade cat, Finch crumbling in the clutch with decision making, etc. Like things are super negative right now here for Wolves fans. But in Indiana, it's kind of like, it's a pretty good season.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we learned a lot. We
did it.
grew up a little bit. Like, this is super cool.
They're a year ahead of schedule.
Perfect way to put it, as a matter of fact. That's how they'll frame it up. Like, young cats got to continue to grow. And Tyrese has the potential to be all otherworldly.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like he was going to be the MVP this season around the time of the midseason tournament.
But but in Indianapolis, like, they're just like, yeah, this is kind of fun.
Right.
Yeah, we got some free games, springtime, and it's beautiful here in Indianapolis. Sneaky underrated convention town. Not even underrated, actually. It's like the convention town next to Vegas. But very different vibe in Indy getting swept by the Celtics, who made that series a lot tougher than it had to be. Pacers led in the late stages of every game, kind of like the Wolves have led in the late stages of every game against the Mavs. Shot makers. Cat now making his. Luka and Kyrie making theirs. No Tyrese Halliburton. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum doing their thing. And I think it was maybe Derek White who hit the dagger yesterday. I think it was.
It's always Derek White, it seems like.
And then just the addition of him's been unbelievable. Jrue Holiday. They're going to get the unicorn back when Kristaps can play, maybe in the finals. And Al Horford still getting it done. I saw a picture. His kid was holding a beer last night.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
All right.
I'm like, right, get down how you get down, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever. I don't know how old the kid is. Everyone's got to have their first sip at one point. They'll say that it's yucky and they'll put it away. And
right.
Some never go back. Some come back. That's News du Nord. That's Max's Musings, as a matter of fact. It's brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park. And CanterburyPark.com for live racing and all event details. When we return, final hour, the Star Tribune columnist himself, Lavelli Neal III. He's got a book coming out in like the next week or 2 weeks, maybe. It's coming out soon. He's covering the PWHL finals, by the way, between Minnesota and Boston. We'll dig back into that double OT letdown, that heartbreaker. Taylor Heisey's goal not counted. Boston scores a minute or two later, and Game 5's tomorrow in Lowell, Massachusetts, just north of Boston. We'll get Wolves' opinions from them. Twins, are they on the come? All of that. Final hour. It's a potpourri. It's Nordo in for PA. Max Fuller is here. Lavelle's next. It's The Fan.